Today's News Talk Radio, TNT, with Joseph Arthur and his Technicolor Dreamcast.
Hello, everyone. 5 times August is the solo act of singer-songwriter Brad Skistimus. Skistimus has appeared on the Fox Business Channel as an expert do-it-yourself indie artist and featured in Billboard magazine, performing songwriter, guitar player, People magazine, and USA Today. In the early 2021, 5 times August began releasing a series of protest songs taking aim at COVID-era regulations, the Biden administration, and most recently, Anthony Fauci with the hit song Sad Little Man, which has reached #1 on several Amazon and Apple Music charts. His new album just came out. It's called Silent War, and it's a modern-day protest masterpiece. Not only that, but his Twitter game is on fire, and I'm sure that will now go to the next level with the platform's newfound freedom, though he never really held back anyhow. He's here with us now. Welcome to the program, my friend Brad. How are you?
Hey, Joseph. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It feels like the dawn of the age of Aquarius over there in Twitter. It's a whole new landscape, and I know that's your stomping ground, so you must be pretty excited.
Yeah, it's been a fun 24 hours. You know, it's like the floodgates opened, and yeah, that's where I've kind of caused the most trouble the last year or so. I haven't really held back. I've just found different ways to say what I want to say. But you know, it's just interesting to see. You know, what's the most interesting thing is the psychological lift. Like Twitter's not a real place. Nobody can go there. We just sit on our computer screens and imagine we're sort of in a room with a bunch of people or something. But last night, just knowing that there's a new owner there, like everybody just, you know, I posted a picture earlier today of like, it was after World War II of people cheering in the streets and holding American flags and stuff. And it was like, if Twitter was a real place, that's what you would be seeing in the streets right now, like people celebrating and cheering, and this psychological feeling being of censorship being lifted off of you. And you know, everybody just went crazy yesterday and today, and it's just been fun to see.
It's strange that, isn't it, that we're at this place now where, I mean, we've been censored for so long, you know, that you really kind of feel the oppression when the oppression is lifted. It is an odd feeling. It feels like, I mean, this should never have not been the case, but it feels almost like we're getting away with something. Like, you know, the feeling is like when the teacher left the schoolroom all of a sudden, and there was that complete different scene change.
Yeah.
Remember those days? Feels like that.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's just you know, it really illustrates how just how incrementally they've pulled that right away from us, that freedom of speech.
Right.
Like, I started noticing it the moment people had to start purposely misspelling the word vaccine online. You know, they would say Maxine or waxine, or spell vaccine with a bunch of I don't know, they just misspell it, you know, or they move to using emojis, right? And if you shared a meme with it, you had to cross out the word because you knew that the algorithm would pick it up. And it's not just that word in particular, but over the last couple of years, we've seen that, like, it's like, oh, one word here, one word there. Oh, we can't say that now. That yesterday, I think, you know, that's what it was. It was no rules, you know, school's out. Let's, you know, let's have a party. And so you're seeing all this stuff now, and it's just freedom. I mean, that's the whole point of it. That's our right to say what we want to say. And so it's just been creeping over us, this censorship, over and over again, little by little, for the last couple of years. Even before all the COVID stuff, during the Trump era and stuff. I mean, he got removed from Twitter. A sitting president
That's true.
got removed.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, you're right.
We all knew it was coming, but you could feel the shift yesterday, and it's so weird how that happened, because who even knows what's going on over there? There could still be people there that can just as much, like I joked yesterday that we're all speaking freely tonight, but tomorrow morning we're all going to wake up with suspended accounts because there's still people over there that are just going to mark your account. So that's the weird thing, is we don't even know. We just know a new guy's over there, but we don't know who's been, behind the scenes has really been let go, and who is responsible for those kind of decisions. But we're celebrating, and it's nice to just go, you know what? You can't suspend all of us. This is it. We've knocked down the gates and we're coming through. And that's a good feeling, because if it happens on Twitter, it's going to start happening elsewhere. You're going to see it happen on Facebook, and you're going to see it happen on Instagram and YouTube, where people are just going to be like, you know what? I'm just going to keep charging through. And that's part of this battle that we're in. Yeah.
TikTok and YouTube probably don't need to follow suit. They're so strong right now, especially, TikTok, and then YouTube's kind of a whole other thing. But I'll tell you what, Facebook and Instagram, their stock is plummeting. They're heading to MySpace, so they should be motivated to follow suit. That should be interesting. That's a play he could make, I think, that would help save the company. I don't really know, but do you follow any of like the super truther people that are writing think pieces about? No, but do you follow any of like the super truther people that are writing think pieces about Musk's connections to like CIA, Starlink, its placement in the war in Ukraine, and how basically that he's still just a government op, and stop your celebrating? Do you follow any of that stuff? What's your take on that?
I don't follow it, but I'm aware of it, and I take Elon Musk on a case by case basis. I'm at a point where I don't know what to think of him. I don't really trust anybody, and everything's been such a show over the last year or 2 years or 6 years, however far back you want to go. It's you can't really tell who the cast of characters is, and I definitely I'm not in line with microchipping anybody. Nobody needs to go down that road. And, I know that's part of his agenda, and I don't agree with it. But at this, I'm celebrating freedom of speech, as it is today. Yeah. At any given point, if a villain is revealed to be a villain, I'm not going to be surprised. So, if, for instance, who was the lady that just, Tulsi Gabbard just left the Democratic Party, right? And she made an announcement the other day, and it was sort of the same sort of thing, right? People were like, well, don't trust her, whatever.
Right.
I'm celebrating the fact of the idea. I'm celebrating her putting the idea in other people's heads that maybe they need to rethink where they're at. That's what I'm celebrating. It's the actions. It's not really the people behind the actions. It's the action itself. I'm celebrating Twitter and free speech. I will celebrate the idea if somebody leaves the Democratic Party, and just the idea of celebrating or just the idea of cracking open a thick skull right now. People have been so obsessively concrete about their beliefs over the last several years, that if you can get somebody to go at all to just go like, oh, that she's leaving, what does that mean? If you can just get that needle to move a little bit in their brain, I will celebrate that. I don't know much about her beyond that, but and same thing with Elon Musk. I don't know the guy. No, we don't know the guy. These public,
but we feel like we do.
You feel like you do based on posts.
I feel like I could pick up a phone and call him up and be like, "Hey, bro, come on. You got to give us more free." You know what I mean? That's the feeling that he gives you. I mean, he's a PR master. I'm with you on this too. I trust these people for what they're saying, basically. I mean, I'm sure Musk has all kinds of CIA connections and high up government connections and all that, but I trust his rhetoric around free speech. And definitely this is going to take, the sort of COVID scam narrative out, I believe. I really do believe this is like the death punch of this whole shocking thing we've been living under.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I am astonished every single day by people that are still committed to it. And I just found out somebody close to me is on their 5th shot. And
that's nuts.
I hadn't talked to him in, I want to say, 2 years. I assumed, that maybe after the second one, that maybe they won't admit that they're wrong, but the information has reached them that maybe they're smart enough to go, maybe I should back off that 3rd, dose or that 4th dose.
Right.
And so then you find out, holy crap, they're on their 5th dose. They're committed to it. So the brainwashing is deep, and it's going to be really hard to crack that egg open, like I was saying, with some people. They're going to fight. They're going to resist. When you see these people that are so compliant writing resist on their bios on social media, I think what they're actually saying is that they're resisting reality, and they're resisting the idea. They're trying to pretend they're part of the resistance, the rebels, the anti-establishment, but they're clearly not. But I think it's my interpretation of it is psychologically they're resisting truth, is what they're actually resisting.
This sets up Gates Behind the Bars really well. Can we play that one?
Sure.
Here we go. This is Brad Skistimus, 5 times August, Gates Behind the Bars.
1, 2, 3, 4. The wimp's on the loose. He's bought all the land. He's out for revenge to hurt every man. He'll print all the food and drug every kid. Pretend like he's good, then hide what he did. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe till we have gates behind the bars. The geek's in control. He's changed his disguise. His chemical world will be your demise. He's sick and he's cruel and acts like he's God. Speaks on the stage while zombies applaud. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe till we have gates behind the bars. He's coming for you. His plans at the door. He's climbed through the windows. He's part of the war. He creeps not alone. He plots with his friends. The forum they have is a circle of sin. There's snakes all around who traffic and kill. They'll dope up the world with needles and pills. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Hey, hey. Nobody's safe till we have gates behind bars. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Hey, hey. Nobody's safe till we have gates behind bars.
That's 5 times August with Gates Behind the Bars. What a stunner that is. We're going to talk to Brad Skistimus about that and more right after these words on TNT.
Mandating that the truth be told. This is TNT Radio.
Welcome back to Joseph Arthur's Technicolor Dreamcast. We're here with Brad Skistimus from 5 times August. We just heard Gates Behind the Bars. Brad, you know, with your protest music, and you know, a lot of times protest music is cerebral and yours isn't. And that is such a huge trick. I mean, even Dylan, you know, my favorite Dylan isn't his protest stuff because, I mean, I guess is If Blowing in the Wind, maybe is that, or The Times They Are Changing. Some of his stuff hits emotional peaks as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Oftentimes protest music kind of is head rooted, whereas yours is emotionally based.
Yeah, I think it just I don't know. I've tapped into something where I'm finding ways to express. I don't know. It started out just as a way. The first couple songs I wrote were just me sort of venting my own frustration. And I don't know. I've found a way to do it. I can't quite explain my approach because I've never written songs like this before. But all I can really say is I'm grateful to be the vehicle for these kinds of songs. I'm really proud of them and what they are, because I feel like I've given something to this time, to this you know, it's been an investment that, and I'm grateful that people have found them and have applied them to their life. And you know, that this album's coming out next week, and I've been packing up CDs all week, and just seeing where they're going around the world has been just phenomenal. It's just fantastic to see that, because it lets me know not only was I not alone when I started speaking out, but that, you know, just people know they're not alone. There's a community now of this. When I started writing these songs in early 2021, it was there was a lot more damage to come along with saying something like that. And now the community has come together. We're stronger than ever. People are uniting, and not just through what, you know, a lot of the brave doctors have said, but through art and entertainment, through music like yours and mine, through events like Defeat the Mandates, through comedians. And I think there's an energy we've all tapped into that's different than humanity has felt in our lifetime, at least. You know, maybe that's where it comes from. We're all sort of syncing up together. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a revolutionary spirit in the air, and it does feel like a shift has occurred to the degree that, I mean, not to define it by cool or uncool, but I'm glad to be in this club, where that wasn't always the case. Even though I knew it was the morally right thing to do, was to speak out against all this stuff, it was an uncomfortable fit for a while. You know what I don't know if you can relate to what I'm saying, but it was lonely. You lose your friends, you lose so much. And before, new relationships present themselves or blossom from your efforts, it's a long ride. And you're in that car alone, and it's a beater, So it's interesting. But you're right. I feel like a rising occurring right now, and this is only going in one direction. It really is. It's just, it's a matter of when it gets to the final destination. But we're heading to a place where this COVID injection scam is going to be seen as, in my view, a genocidal attempt, something profoundly nefarious, and something that nobody will publicly defend. And I don't think we're too far off from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. My thing to do right now is I love going back 6 and 12 months and 18 months and looking at my posts, because they reinstill my beliefs, and they just show that they show to me that, oh yeah, you were on the right track. Way to stick with it, because I remember getting, feeling alone early on. I used to say, I remember saying to my wife early on, I was like, I'm either burning down everything I've worked for, or I'm building something new. And I didn't know what I was doing that for the first, I don't even know, almost whole year of releasing these songs. And now I know for sure I'm building something new, and we're all building something new together. And it's really exciting. As dark as it has been, it's really exciting. I get really amped up about it, because if you look back over the last couple of years and you look at where you were, you were right. I remember somebody posting on my Facebook, it was a fan that said, "Are you sure this is the hill you want to die on?" And I knew it was the hill I wanted to die on, and it's still the hill I'm willing to die on. And it just is. I mean, everything that I knew in my gut that I went with has been validated, and it's still being validated. I mean, and we all saw that. We all saw, going back to even the vaccine cards with 4 spaces being on the card. It was like, there's 4 spaces on there for a reason. It's not going to stop at 1 and 2. And sure enough, 4 boosters. And then sure enough, what does Biden announce the other day? Well, it's going to be a yearly vaccine. And I was saying all this stuff to people that ended up despising everything I was saying, that held it against me, that shamed me for it. And maybe they haven't woken up quite yet, but I feel like we're at that tipping point where a lot of these people that are, like I said earlier, resisting the truth, they're not going to have an option at some point in the near future. They're just not. There's going to be too much on the table. Yeah.
Exactly. There's just, too many sudden adult deaths, all of it. It's coming down the pike, man. And maybe this Twitter acquisition from Elon Musk is the straw that's going to break the camel's back. Let's hope so. Let's go into another song. We have I Will Not Be Leaving Quietly or Lions. What do you think we should do, Brad?
You put I Will Not Be Leaving Quietly on. That's fine. It's a jammer.
All right. Here comes I Will Not Be Leaving Quietly by 5 Times August.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hate me, try to break me, talk me down and denigrate me. You can try to silence every word use me and try to kick me out, but I will not be leaving quietly. No, I won't leave. I won't leave. I will not be leaving quietly. And you can mute me, strike and dispute me, dumb down the rest, yeah, but I'll keep refusing. You can pretend like you've seen the last of me, but I will not be leaving quietly. No, I won't leave. I won't leave. I will not be leaving quietly. I'm gonna stand there and I'll fight for every word. I'm gonna shout the truth until you know it's heard. I'm gonna stand there and I'll fight for every word. I'm gonna shout the truth until you know it's heard. Yeah, yeah. You can hate me, try to break me, talk me down and denigrate me. You can try to silence every word, but I will not be leaving quietly. Nah, I won't leave. I won't leave. I will not be leaving quietly. Nah, I won't leave. I won't leave. I will not be leaving quietly. No, I won't leave. I won't leave. I will not be leaving quietly.
That's 5 times August with I Will Not Be Leaving Quietly. Celebratory and defiant at the same time. There you go again, mixing emotions that we're not used to necessarily in protest anthems, Brad. I think that's so effective. Because it's a celebration of defiance, really.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. That song came out of me when I decided. That was the 4th song that I released in the series of songs, and it was me sort of going, you know what, I'm committing, and I had made this big thing about how I was going to be leaving all the major social media platforms, which is ironic because I'm still there. But what happened was I was going to leave, and I had some friends and fans that were like, hey, maybe you shouldn't leave. You should stay and, have your voice be more places than less places. And I thought about that and I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave quietly either. I'm going to be as loud as I can. And if I get kicked off, then that's fine. I was sort of imagining being drug off by, the Facebook police or something, just screaming my head off, saying what I wanted to say. And I wanted to write a song that might be, it's only a few chords that people could, all these songs are really just a few chords, but they're really something that if you're a guitar player and you could pick this stuff up easily, that you could take that song and bring it to a rally with you and get your friends to sing it and just bang, on a trash can and make it happen right then and there. And that was sort of its purpose, was to just sort of, give everybody a little anthem to sing. And it was so cool to see that song playing but in the Canadian protests, at the trucker protests. I fans that were posting that song being played, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. It's perfect.
It's great that you were willing to sacrifice your relationship with social media. I think that's interesting to hear. I actually didn't know that before, but it explains the way you sort of handle yourself there, because you are really fearless.
Well, I don't know if it's fearless. I just feel like there's no other option. The fight is for my kids. It's for our future. There's so many layers to it. I think about even my grandparents and what they fought for and what they went through. And I'm like, this isn't the time to just give up. It is scary. There are things to fear, but I think that, especially early on, like we were discussing, you're going to lose friends and family, and if you're in the arts, you're going to lose fans and business relationships, people that might have been willing to help you before that aren't anymore, and there's a lot of weight that comes along with that. But it's just this is much bigger than any of that. It's where we're at a tipping point where if we don't stand up now and risk everything, there will be nothing to risk losing in the future, because we'll all just be controlled idiots. And so, that's where it just comes from. It's just the passion of knowing, like, we really just don't have an option right now. So I'm doing what I can do with what I do. That's all it really is.
Well, when the voices of dissent go quiet, that's when the atrocities begin. But so this album came together as a series of singles, really, like one song at a time, often, maybe always, with an excellent video attached. And now you've culminated it into this album called Silent War. It's got an excellent cover. Tell us about that. Tell us how that feels to have it as a body of work, as an album.
I'm really proud of it. It's like I've been writing an album in real time in front of the world. And the track listing on the album is in the order that I wrote and released each song. And I had the songs, and I thought there's a story here. I can't put them out of order, because it tells a story of me as a songwriter. It tells a story of people waking up and the events that happened. And so there's a story from start to finish, from the first track, God Help Us All, into the last track, which is called Lions. And to me, it sort of creates it's a soundtrack for the show we've all been a part of over the last 2-3 years now. But it feels really nice to hear them all in context of one another, and I hope that it's something that people can put on and listen to from top to bottom, and sort of bring that back to music too, because we are such a one song at a time kind of people right now within the digital age. And a lot of these songs have been scattered about individually. There's Sad Little Man did its thing, and there's a song called Joe that did its thing, and Jesus, What Happened to Us, all on their own. They reach different people. But now you have this whole presentation together that really illustrates a story, and it's very conceptual in that way. It's pretty cool.
Do you see God's thumbprint on it when it culminates like that, when you have written these songs over the course of 2 years or so, and you've kept them in order? I mean, as an artist myself, it's like to have that kind of focus, a singular focus. That's something that has always escaped me. I'm always like doing a lot of different things, and and you have to know how you are and how your creation works and how your creativity flows. But I have to say, I'm very envious of the level of focus you have, the singular focus of this project.
Well, I do see God's thumbprint on it, because that was the big switching point for me with God Help Us All. Was that song came out of prayer and a commitment to a sort of a spiritual partnership. And as a creator, as an artist, it was sort of me going, look, God, I have always written these songs from such a personal space, my own songs about what I was going through in life. I want to write songs that you want me to write. And that's the entirety of this record. It's me writing songs that I felt came from another dimension. It came from, a spiritual partnership, like I said, where each one, that's why I think there's so much space between each song that I released. That's why it sort of took a year and a half, because I didn't write a song unless I felt moved to write it. It wasn't like I sat down and said, well, I got to write 12 songs and make an album about what's been happening. I just wrote one at a time and let it come to me when it came to me. And sort of said, in prayer, is this what you want me to write? Is this what you want me to put out there? You mentioned being fearless earlier, and I think that takes away a lot of the fear, is faith. That's the saying, isn't it? Faith over fear. And I have that kind of faith in God that he's I can look back over 20 years of my career and know he lined everything up for me to be the artist that I am right now. I know that in my heart, in my soul, that when I put out music now, that's the song, that's the song that was given to me. That's the partnership right now. That's the message. And so to have it all in one place, it feels real special. It's something special.
What a blessing to have that sense of purpose, man. I hope you, I hate it when people say, I hope you should be grateful. But I mean, who said it? Most men live lives of quiet desperation. I forget who said that off the top of my head. It'll come to me. But, that's really true. I think most men do live lives of quiet desperation. And so, to have this, to be filled with this sense of purpose, and then have the work you put out reflect everything you're saying, because every one of these songs does sound inspired. And let's go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to listen to Lions from 5 Times August after these words on TNT.
The world has gone nuts, lighting the fuse for freedom. TNT Radio.
Henry David Thoreau was the name I was looking for. The full quote is, most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. Brad Skistimis will not be one of those men. And here's one of the songs that thankfully is not still in him. It's called Lions. It's from his new masterful album, Silent War, out soon.
Someday when the war is finally won, after all the damage has been done, you will look around and have to ask yourself, did you wake up with the lions, or did you just stay asleep? Someday when the truth has been revealed, after all the effort to be healed, you will see the wounded everywhere you go. So wake up with the lions, don't let yourself stay asleep. Wake up to the crossfire, wake up from the lies, wake up from the fear that's covering up your eyes. Wake up from the hate and wake up to the cries. Wake up as a warrior fighting for what's right. Wake up as a soldier and wake up with the lions. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Someday when the dark has been destroyed, broken by the rebel girls and boys, you'll be looking back and have to ask yourself, did you fight for it with lions, or did you just stay asleep? So will you wake up with the lions, or will you just stay asleep?
That's a sparse masterpiece rather. Wow, what a stunner that is. The production on all this stuff is really excellent as well. So congrats on that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something that I was telling my wife this earlier, that she sat me down earlier and we had kind of personal moment. And she just said, I want to tell you I'm really proud of you. And it was really nice. It was a really nice little moment. And it kind of got me thinking about, my aspirations as an artist and what I've wanted to do since I was a kid with music. And I love that. Something that I'm really proud of about the production of these songs is that there's not much to it. Most of the songs are just vocals and guitar, or that one's vocals and piano. And I really love that there's a lot of weight to so little in these songs, that music can still do that. It's shown me, that's what makes it special to me, is like I grew up admiring these guys that changed the world just by singing with their guitar. And I kind of felt like that was lost. And it's been so rewarding to feel like you can do that. I don't know how to describe it, but if I was to sit myself down at 18 years old and go, hey, like, you're gonna write some pretty good songs later on, and it's just gonna be you and the guitar, and it's gonna be something really special. Like, I don't know, it's just, retrospectively, looking back as a who I thought I was going to be at the start of my own journey, never would have thought I'd be this guy. But it's just been a long journey, and I'm just I don't know how to say it, just sort of kind of proud of it. I don't know.
And you should be. I mean, and the minimalism makes everything sound huge too. It's funny the way that works. The more stuff you throw on a recording, the smaller everything sounds by comparison. If you just record a voice and a guitar, if you have the content to do that, because the words are so powerful in these songs. That last one is just amazing, man. And again, it speaks to these times. It speaks of protest, and yet it has huge emotion in it. And that is unusual. I mean, I've, written a fair number of protest songs myself. I've definitely studied the craft, and I'm telling you, they lean towards being cerebral, and these do not. And I think that's I don't know, man. I think it's going to go. I think now that you have it packaged as a single album and that you can sort of promote it on another level than you have, and then also maybe re-release videos and singles and stuff like that, if that's your plan, or are you moving on creatively? What's your marketing strategy for this?
Well, that's the thing as an artist is, you try to be as much of your own, as an indie artist, I should say, you try to be as much of a businessman as you can and think about these things. I've got, as I'm going to try to get as many interviews as I can with, some friends that I've made along the way. I don't think I'm going to be on Timcast on Tuesday. And that's going to be something pretty cool.
That's massive.
Yeah. And that's
great.
This is what I love about really being an indie artist is I had the release date set for November 4th, and they wrote and asked if I could do that week. And we worked out November 1st, and I was like, I'm going to just move the date up to November 1st. And so when I'm on the show, that the album comes out. Yeah, and so I love that I can do that as an indie artist, because if I was signed to a label, there'd be a lot of, well, I don't know, maybe we'll have to wait until, whatever the conversation would be. But that's going to be a great launching point for the record, and I've got some other interviews lined up, and it's going to be exciting. Beyond that, I mean, I've already sort of started writing some more songs, and you played Lions just now, and to me that's the final song on the album, and it sort of brings us up to the point that we're at now, that tipping point where you sort of have to ask yourself, are you going to wake up or are you going to stay asleep? And it's kind of a cliffhanger in a way. I feel like what I've written is a volume 1, and the next 2 years will be volume 2 somehow. So we'll see, what happens in the world, but there's more to come.
It is a cliffhanger. It leaves you, it feels like to be continued for sure. And obviously you're referencing the world and current events, and it is to be continued. It's kind of like looping us back to how we started the interview, though. The wake up, stay asleep quagmire that we're watching everyone go through to various degrees, and where will it land? So, there's that famous quote, "May you be blessed to live in uninteresting times." And it is a blessing if you're just living a normal life to live in uninteresting times, but it's a blessing if you're an artist to live in interesting times, and we have those in spades. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. These are the days.
These are the days, man. So Timcast, that's going to be fun. So you're flying out there. He's in West Virginia, right? In the hills of West Virginia.
Yeah,
those are my.
I'll be flying out. By the way, that's your stomping grounds.
Yeah, I have a lot of family from West Virginia. Spent a lot of time there as a kid. Yeah, man, I'm proper backwoods, bro.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get there. I haven't been to West Virginia in a long time, but I'll be leaving out there on Halloween, and be up there on Tuesday, and it'll be great. I'm sure it's beautiful up there, and yeah.
Well, Daniel Johnston has a song, and it goes, "God painted a pretty picture, and he called it West Virginia." So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. He's another guy. Acoustic dude.
I played bass with him once back in New York.
You did?
He played at the Knitting Factory, and his A&R guy called me up and said, "Hey, can you come play bass for Daniel?" And so it was like one gig, and it went kind of weird because he couldn't find his notebook, and he had a little freak out. But then, I ended up being in one of the Daniel Johnston biographies because of that one gig. There's a picture of me there with Jill Solbuel, and we're playing in his band. It's so funny, dude. All right, Brad,
funny.
We're at the... Okay. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. A bit of a Zelig-like story there, just being everywhere. But tell people where to find you, Brad. And listen, thank you so much for coming on, man. These are beautiful songs. I'm really happy for you. And everyone go get Silent War. It's a masterpiece. Brad, tell people where to find it.
So just you can get the CDs at 5timesaugust.com, and we've also got a vinyl for sale that we've crowdfunded, and looking forward to that. That's sort of a little dream come true for myself to be on vinyl. And digitally it'll be out on Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Bandcamp, and it'll be out there everywhere next week. So
all right,
check it out.
Well, we'll talk later, Brad. Thanks for coming on. Everybody keep listening to more on TNT. We'll be right back with Karen Hunt and Ruckus.